I couldn't believe what I was seeing. My hands trembled as I peeked through the crack in the dining room door. There she was, Margaret, my mother-in-law, standing over my wine glass with a small bottle in her hand. She looked around nervously, then tilted the bottle. A clear liquid dripped into my drink. My heart pounded so hard I thought it would burst out of my chest. This couldn't be real. Margaret had always been cold to me, but murder? I pressed my hand against my mouth to stop myself from gasping my name. Is Sarah? I'm 35 years old. She tucked the bottle into her purse and walked toward the kitchen. I had maybe 30 seconds before she came back. 30 seconds to decide what to do. My feet moved before my brain could catch up. I rushed to the table on my tiptoes, quiet as a mouse. My wine glass sat there, the red liquid looking innocent. Next to it was Margaret's glass, the same wine, the same amount. Without thinking twice, I switched them. My poisoned glass went to her spot. Her clean glass came to mine. I heard her footsteps coming back. I dove behind the large plant in the corner, my breath caught in my throat. This was insane. This was dangerous, but she had just tried to kill me. Margaret walked back into the dining room, a fake smile plastered on her face. She was humming softly, like she didn't have a care in the world, like she hadn't just poisoned her son's wife. "Dinner is almost ready," she called out, thinking I was still upstairs. "Come down whenever you're ready, dear." The way she said "dear" made my skin crawl. How long had she been planning this? How long had she hated me enough to want me dead? I watched from my hiding spot as she sat down at her place, right in front of the poisoned wine glass, my poisoned wine glass. I stayed hidden, watching. Margaret picked up her phone and started scrolling through it. She seemed relaxed, patient. She was waiting for me to come down and drink the poison. My mind raced with questions. Why did she want to kill me? Was it because I married her precious son, David? Was it because I convinced him to move out of her house? Or was there something else, something darker I didn't know about? The grandfather clock in the hallway ticked loudly. Each second felt like an hour. I needed to see what would happen when she drank from that glass. The front door opened, and my husband David walked in. My body went rigid. I hadn't expected him home so early. "Mom, Sarah," he called out. "I'm home early, the meeting got canceled." Margaret's face changed for just a second. She looked annoyed, maybe even angry. Then her sweet smile returned. "We're in the dining room, sweetheart," she sang out. "Sarah will be down in a minute." David walked in, loosening his tie. He kissed his mother's cheek, then looked around. "Where is Sarah?" I had to think fast. I couldn't stay hidden forever, and I couldn't let David drink anything either. I stepped out from behind the plant. "I'm right here," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "I was looking for my earring. I dropped it earlier." David smiled at me, but Margaret's eyes narrowed. She studied me carefully, like she was trying to figure out if I knew something. "Did you find it?" Margaret asked sweetly. "Yes," I lied, "just now." I walked to the table but didn't sit down. I couldn't, not yet. "Well, let's eat," Margaret said, standing up. "I'll bring out the food. David, help your mother, won't you?" David followed her to the kitchen. The moment they left the room, I stared at the wine glasses. Both looked exactly the same. Red wine halfway full, but one held death. I had to mark Margaret's glass somehow. I had to be sure she drank from the right one or the wrong one, depending on how you looked at it. Quickly, I pulled a pen from my pocket and made a tiny dot on the base of her glass. There. Now I would know. They came back carrying plates of food. Roast chicken, mashed potatoes, green beans. It all looked delicious, but my stomach was twisted in knots. How could I eat when my mother-in-law had just tried to murder me? "Let's make a toast," Margaret said, raising her glass, the one with the tiny dot. The poisoned one. "To family." "To family," David repeated, reaching for his own glass of water. I raised my safe glass but didn't drink yet. I wanted to see Margaret drink first. Margaret brought the glass to her lips. This was it, the moment of truth. My heart hammered in my chest. But then she paused. She set the glass down. "Actually, I should add some ice," she said. "This wine is a bit warm." No, she couldn't leave again. What if she realized the glasses had been switched? What if she checked somehow? I'll get the ice, I said quickly, jumping up. You sit and relax, Margaret. Her eyes locked onto mine. For a long moment, we just stared at each other. Did she know? Could she tell? I rushed to the kitchen, my mind spinning. I grabbed ice from the freezer, my hands shaking. What was I going to do? I couldn't let this dinner continue, but I also needed to know why she wanted me dead. Through the kitchen door, I heard David talking about his day at work. His voice was so normal, so happy. He had no idea his mother was a monster. I had to protect him, even if it meant exposing the horrible truth. I walked back with ice in a small bowl. Margaret smiled at me, but it didn't reach her eyes. Thank you, dear, she said, taking one cube and dropping it into her wine glass. The glass with the dot, the poisoned glass. She swirled it around, then lifted it to her lips again. This time, she took a sip. I held my breath. What would happen? How fast did the poison work? Margaret swallowed and smiled. Perfect, she said. Nothing happened. She looked completely fine. Minutes passed. We ate dinner. Margaret kept drinking her wine, emptying the glass slowly. She laughed at David's jokes. She asked me about my day. She acted completely normal. I was so confused. Had I imagined the whole thing? No, I couldn't have. I saw her pour something into my glass. I was sure of it. Maybe the poison was slow acting. Maybe it took hours to work. Or maybe it was something else entirely. Sarah, you've barely touched your food, David said, concern in his voice. Are you feeling okay? I'm fine, I lied. Just a small headache. Margaret's eyes gleamed. Perhaps you should rest, dear. Lie down for a bit. That's when it hit me. She wanted me alone. Upstairs, away from David. Maybe the poison wasn't meant to kill me at dinner. Maybe it was supposed to work when I was by myself, and she could make it look like something else. Actually, I feel better now, I said firmly. I'd like to stay and enjoy this lovely dinner. Margaret's smile tightened. If you're sure. I was sure. I wasn't going anywhere, and I was going to figure out what she was really up to. David's phone rang. He looked at the screen and frowned. It's the office. I need to take this. He stepped out into the hallway. The moment he left, the air in the room changed. Margaret's sweet expression melted away like ice in the sun. You switched the glasses, she said quietly. It wasn't a question. My blood ran cold. I don't know what you're talking about. Don't play games with me, girl. Her voice was like steel. I'm not stupid. We stared at each other across the table. The truth hung between us like a knife. Why? I whispered. Why do you want me dead? Margaret laughed, but it was a cold, cruel sound. Dead? Oh, Sarah, you really are naive. I saw you put something in my wine, I said. I saw you. She leaned back in her chair, studying me. Yes, I put something in your wine, but it wasn't poison, you foolish girl. My mind reeled. Then what was it? Something to make you sleep, to make you vulnerable. The word hung in the air like poison itself. I don't understand, I said, though fear crawled up my spine. Margaret sighed, like she was tired of explaining things to a child. My son married you too quickly. He doesn't know what you really are. I needed proof. Proof of what? I love David. Love, she spat the word. You married him for his money, his inheritance. I know women like you. So I plan to drug you, let my friend Richard find you alone and confused. We'd take pictures. David would see what kind of wife he really has. I felt sick. You were going to frame me, make it look like I cheated. David would divorce you immediately. You'd get nothing. That's what you deserve. You're insane, I breathed. No, dear, I'm protective. That's what mothers do. She paused. But now you've drunk the safe wine and I've drunk the drugged wine. How unfortunate. You'll just tell David the truth, that you drugged yourself by accident. Margaret smiled slowly. Will I? Or will I tell him that you drugged me, that you're dangerous, unstable? Who do you think he'll believe, his mother or his wife of barely 6 months? She was right. David adored his mother. He'd always taken her side, or would he? David came back into the room. Sorry about that. Work never stops. He looked between us, sensing the tension. Is everything okay? Fine, Margaret said quickly, but I saw her blink slowly. The drugs were starting to work. Actually, David, everything is not fine, I said. My voice shook, but I forced myself to continue. Your mother just confessed something terrible to me. Sarah, don't. Margaret started to stand, but she swayed. Her eyes were getting glassy. Mom, are you okay? David rushed to her side. I'm fine, just dizzy. She shot me a look full of venom. Sarah, what did you do to me? She's drugged, Margaret slurred. Sarah drugged my wine. David's head snapped toward me. Sarah, what is she talking about? She's lying, David. She drugged her own wine, thinking it was mine. I spoke quickly, clearly. She was going to frame me for cheating. She told me everything. That's insane, Margaret tried to shout, but her words ran together. Don't listen. She's crazy. Always knew. She collapsed back in her chair, her eyes rolling back. Mom, David caught her. What's happening? Sarah, call 911. Not yet, I said. First, check her purse. Look for a small bottle. David stared at me like I'd grown a second head. What? Sarah, my mother is. Just look, please, trust me. Something in my voice made him listen. He grabbed Margaret's purse from the counter and opened it. His hands trembled as he pulled items out. Wallet, keys, tissues, and then a small brown bottle. What is this? He whispered. I took it from him and read the label. Sleeping medication, heavy duty. Your mother put this in what she thought was my wine. She wanted to drug me. David's face went white. No, Mom would never. Call her friend Richard, I said. Ask him what he was supposed to do tonight. David's hands shook as he scrolled through his mother's phone. I felt terrible watching him, but he needed to know the truth. He found Richard's number and pressed call, putting it on speaker. Margaret, Richard answered. Is she out? Should I come over? David's voice was hollow. This is her son. What are you talking about? Silence, then. Oh, this isn't what it sounds like. Then explain it, David said. Explain what you were supposed to do tonight. More silence, then Richard hung up. David stood there, the phone in his hand, staring at his unconscious mother. His whole world was crashing down. I knew because I could see it on his face. We called 911 after that. The paramedics came and took Margaret to the hospital. They said she would be fine, she'd just sleep for several hours. They asked what happened, and I told them the truth. At the hospital, while Margaret slept, David and I sat in the waiting room. He hadn't said much since we'd left the house. I'm sorry, I finally said. I know she's your mother. She tried to destroy you, he said quietly. She tried to destroy us. She thought she was protecting you. From what? From being happy? His voice broke. I chose you, Sarah. I love you. Why wasn't that enough for her? I took his hand. I don't know. When Margaret woke up, police officers were waiting. David had called them. He sat beside me as they questioned her. At first, she denied everything. Then she cried. Then she got angry. Finally, she admitted it all. The drugs, the plan with Richard, everything. I was protecting my son, she shouted. She's after his money. Women like her always are. I signed a prenup, Margaret, I said calmly. If David and I divorce, I get nothing. I never wanted his money. I just wanted him. Her face crumpled. For the first time, she looked old and small and defeated. I just wanted my son, she whispered. I didn't want to lose him. The police let Margaret go home with a warning, but she had to stay away from us. David got a restraining order. We changed the locks on our house. Richard confessed to his part in the plan. He lost his job. Margaret lost her son. David visited her once 2 weeks later. He came home with red eyes. She's sorry, he said. She wants to apologize to you. Do you want me to accept it? I asked. He thought for a long time. I want you to do whatever feels right to you. She's my mother, but you're my wife. You're the one she hurt. I loved him more in that moment than ever before. I never did accept Margaret's apology. Some things can't be forgiven, not really. She had wanted to destroy my life, my marriage, my reputation, all because she couldn't let go of her son. But I didn't hate her either. I pitied her. She'd lost David because she tried too hard to keep him. 6 months later, David and I moved to a new city for his job. A fresh start. Sometimes he talked to his mother on the phone, short conversations that left him sad. I never stopped him. She was still his mother, after all. As for me, I learned something important that night at dinner. I learned that I was stronger than I thought, strong enough to think quickly, to protect myself, to stand up for the truth even when it hurt someone I loved. Every now and then, when David pours me a glass of wine, I think about that night, about the poison that wasn't poison, about switching the glasses, about seeing Margaret's true face. And I'm grateful. Grateful that I saw who she really was before it was too late. Grateful for my husband's love and trust. Grateful that we survived the betrayal. I raise my glass and drink without fear. Because the only poison in my life now is gone, locked away behind restraining orders and broken trust. The wine tastes sweet, like revenge, like victory, like freedom. And I savor every drop.